Sometimes in TV shows, you get a weird episode or episodes maybe where whether it's by accident or they have to for the greater good or they're forced to, the villain, the main villain, or even the side villain works with the main hero. So today we're going to look at some shows where the main villain had to work together with the main villain, like I said, whether they were forced or not. So make sure you like and sub up and hit that hype button as well. You can do it on your phone. Make sure you go on your phone and hit the hype button as well for me. I really appreciate that. And we're going to take a look at some of them shows. Because sometimes when the villain teams with the hero, whether they want to or not, it is always interesting because it's like, dang, that's really you going crazy. You really can team up with this villain and it's really like that. So we're going to take a look at these. Oh my God. First we got my GOAT. Oh my God. First we got Ben 10. But can we take a moment how blessed we are to just be a part of the Ben 10 culture and just be there and be like, have a show out there that anybody can watch at any age and it's just inspirational. But anyway, obviously we know Kevin and Ben teams up in later series, but this was like really early on. Like, this is probably when people thought, oh, Kevin was just going to be the big bad guy. He was just going to be a bad guy, reoccurring villain, whatever. Nobody thought about Alien Force. It wasn't even a thing. So for them to team up here, thinking, what? Teleporting yourself back then? It's like, whoa, Ben and Kevin actually had to team up. Even though it was only for a little bit, and Kevin really didn't want to do it, they had to team up for the greater good. So this was like, I say this was like a sneak peek into Alien Force, kind of, even though they was way closer in Alien Force. But like, it was kind of a sneak peek into that without even realizing it. Because it was like, Ben had to team up with Kevin. They figured, and it was like a rare team up where Kevin had like all of Ben's aliens, this form. It was a rare team up. So to see that, like, you got to transfer yourself back then. Seeing that was like pretty crazy. It would be like, I know Ben and Vilgax teamed up in Omniverse, but it would kind of be like Ben and Vilgax teaming up in like this Ben 10, the original. Bro, that would have been something to see if Ben and Vilgax had to team up in the original. That would have been crazy. But this is one of the instances where like they kind of had to work together because they was tied up together. So it was like, I wouldn't even say a truce because Kevin was really being a douchebag about it and didn't really want to team up with him. So do I call it a truce? He didn't force him to team up with him. It was kind of like, they had to, or they were going to be stuck on that ship forever. But as soon as he worked with him, he turned his back on him. So it was short-lived. Little do they know Alien Force was around the corner, but this was pretty interesting. It's just my goal. I could sit here and talk about Ben 10 for years, bro, and not get tired of it. He's so inspirational. Next, we got Teen Titans when Slade forced Robin. This is a forced one. Forced Robin to team with him. I'm not gonna lie. This might have been the toughest version of Robin. I've said it before, bro. I'm not Unc. Teen Titans, the original, this one came out like 03, right? Bro, I was like 2. I don't even think I was conscious yet, like, for real. You know what I mean? So I was like 2 years old. So I actually ended up watching it way late, like years and years and years later. But my memory sucks. So I could easily go back and watch a show every like 2 to 3 years and not remember much from it. But I do remember him teaming up with like Slade. Forced to, because he had put secret chips inside the Teen Titans except Robin. Because he wanted Robin to be with him. And this was crazy, bro. This version of Robin, I'm telling you, this version of Robin is cold. Like, and the fact that he could beat the Titans 1-on-4, I think they weren't really, but they were really trying. But at the same time, they really weren't trying, but because they were his friend and they looked out for Robin. But I feel like they were trying. So he basically beat them 1-on-4, and he's a human, mind you, which is kind of funny. But it was basically that he put the nano things inside of them, and he said, I'm going to, eliminate your friends if you don't work with me. So it was, like I said, it was kind of a forced interaction thing. But I'm telling you, this version of Robin was so tough, bro. Like, just looking at him being slayed, like, evil, it's crazy. It's crazy how much superheroes turn up when they're forced to be evil or forced to go against their morals. It's like they're good, and then they crank it up to like 11. It's insane. This dude Robin was moving so differently. I know there was I'm pretty sure there was another episode where they had to team up, but I don't think it was to this degree. I think it was just like something else minor-ish, but not really minor. But to this degree where it was like, you do this or your friends, bro, Robin was on one, bro. I might say this is the best version of Robin. Like I said, my memory sucks when it comes to Teen Titans, but bro, this version of Robin was tough, bro. Working with Slade and all that. Next, we got Johnny Test when he was Johnny X and Super Pooch, and they had to work together with the villains to stop Dark. Was it Darth Vader? No, they would have got sued. Dark Vader. Dark Vader? No, somebody would have got sued. But his initials were DV, so he came back. He came to the planet to try to take over, and then they had this whole Johnny force to get rid of him. But in the end, they actually ended up teaming up. And side note, I don't care what nobody say. These TikTok people are not about to get in my head, bro. Johnny Test is elite. Johnny Test is goated. I don't care if it has 50 million. Did he show his butt? I don't care if it has 50. There it is, the DV, which could stand for other stuff too, which is kind of wild. But I don't care if Johnny Test had 50 million sound effects. Y'all, what is it, LARPers? Y'all did not worry about that when you were watching Johnny Test. And y'all probably didn't even think about that when you got older until you saw TikTok. Oh, Johnny Test had like 30,000 sound effects. Sound effects in the first. Man, I'm not trying to hear it. My thing about me is if I really like a show, there ain't nothing nobody can say about it that'll make me dislike it. Ben 10's up there. Like, there's nothing you can say to make me hate Ben 10. Johnny Test is on that list too. Very short list, but those two on there. Johnny Test is so goated, bro. Like, man. But this was another instance where there's probably other times, because the villains in this show weren't really evil. They just wanted to get rid, well, they were evil, but they just really wanted to get rid of Johnny. They were like evil, but they were like, not like super evil. You know what I mean? I guess some of them were, but you know those shows where the villains are like evil, but it's like, they're not really, like Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb, that's an example. He's evil, but it's like, he has a soft spot. I feel like a lot of these villains are evil, but they're not like super evil. You know what I mean? Johnny Test is so goated. But you know what I mean when it comes to that? So Johnny teaming up with his villains, I guess can't be much of a shocker. Like Johnny Test seemed like the type of show where the villains will work with Johnny sometimes, and then the next episode it's like, oh, we hate each other again. You know what I mean? Just feels like that show. Next, again, I am not Unk when I talk about this, but next we have Mojo Jojo, the greatest saying, Mojo Jojo, and the Powerpuff Girls working together. I'm gonna be real, I didn't know this was an actual thing that happened. I always thought they was enemies the whole time. I didn't even know, I mean, the law of averages would say like eventually they would have to make an episode where they work together. But look how HD it is. I think this was like super late, maybe 01, 02, 03 maybe. Pretty sure Powerpuff Girls were still around during that time. But they had worked together with Mojo because it was a bigger threat coming to Earth and destroying them. So they needed help from Mojo to see how to take it down. And it's crazy because at the end, Mojo actually was the hero and he helped save the day. Which is kind of funny, bro. Like, you would like, imagine growing up with Powerpuff Girls and like you see you wake up on a random Wednesday and you see an episode, Mojo Jojo and the Powerpuff Girls working together. It's like, bro, that might have blew your mind back in the day because they didn't really do stuff like that. What is late 90s, early 2000s when this came out? No, late 90s it had to come out, right? I'm telling you, that's past my time. I'm 01. But like that's just insane to think about. Like the Powerpuff Girls and the Mojo Jojo. Like I said, it doesn't hit me the same, but I know it is a thing that people probably remember. Or maybe this was past the time where Powerpuff Girls was like popping for real. So maybe nobody really saw this. But I just thought it was interesting to like Mojo Jojo and the Powerpuff Girls working together. I don't know. That would be like, what's that little, I don't even know that little girl's name in the show that's evil also. Did they work together too? They probably did actually. I don't know anymore. I'm gonna be real with y'all. My knowledge of Powerpuff Girls isn't that high, but it is a villain that worked together with a superhero, which like I said, I didn't even expect that. Like, I don't know much about Powerpuff Girls, but I didn't expect that. I didn't think that would be an episode, like, ever. So for them to do that and happen this late, all right, Powerpuff Girls, you're all right. Mojo Jojo is the greatest of all time. Not above Ben 10, though. Ben 10's a GOAT. And look at my GOAT, man. And that'll do it, man. I usually like to keep it to 4 different shows because if I do so many, we'll be here forever. So make sure you like, sub up, and again, hit that hype button as well. You can only see the hype button on the phone version. So if you can go to your phone version, hit that hype button for me. I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, if you're like, some people not going to like the style I do this. I really just be talking and yapping, quotation marks, kind of be yapping about the show. Like, it ain't nothing fancy. So again, if you appreciate it, make sure you like, sub up, and hit that hype button. And usually last minute, I kind of just be yapping as well, last 30 seconds. And we just pray and, like, not pray really, but, like, actually pray to Ben 10. And he's just the GOAT. We glaze Ben 10 on the last 30 seconds. He's just, especially Ben 10's in this video, so I can actually glaze without feeling ashamed. Like 2 tons of glaze on Ben 10. Like, he's just, look at him. He just, that scene was AI. But that's just, he just never loses. He's just so inspirational. I'm just so blessed to be part of the Ben 10. Like, just having Ben 10 there at all times, man.